Hello everybody and welcome to this week's episode of the Ultimate Fashion History's 20th Century Style Icon series. This time around, we're heading down to sunny 60s Palm Beach with Lilly Pulitzer. Now, you know that we don't often talk about designers in the 20th century style icons or labels or anything like that. But in the case of Lilly Pulitzer, it was the woman herself who absolutely redefined how American women could dress in the 1960s and beyond. So, enjoy. Just mention of that name, Lilly Pulitzer, brings to mind particular locations like the Hamptons, Martha's Vineyard, or Palm Beach, those privileged playgrounds for America's elite, or indeed, it brings to mind images of pretty southern sorority girls, all looking lovely in their lilies. Well, all of this is true up to a point, but there is so much more to Lilly's story than many know, and it's a story that isn't as grounded in elitism and preppiness as you might think. It's one of fashion's greatest stories, and I'm going to sort of tell it backwards. I'm going to start just a couple of years ago with Lilly Pulitzer's notorious collaboration with Target. I'll just explain to the Ultimate Fashion History's international viewers who may not be familiar with Target. Target is a chain of stores, a little bit like Asda in England or indeed Monoprix in France. It's a great store and it's very reasonably priced. Every year Target collaborates with a designer or a label of a much higher price point, sometimes a very high price point, like Jean-Paul Gaultier or Missoni. In 2015, Target collaborated with Lilly Pulitzer and shoppers went crazy. The Target website crashed, so nobody could buy anything online. People queued up for hours and rushed into their local Targets and stocked up like this. There were one or two die-hard Lilly fans, however, who were not keen on the idea of people who perhaps were living a different financial reality, being able to afford Lilly Pulitzer at a reasonable price, and they took to the Twitter sphere with some rather nasty tweets. If you weren't classy enough to wear Lilly before, you're not classy enough now. Well, to be honest, I've never known anyone who's truly classy to ever use the word classy. Or, Target, Lilly must be rolling in her grave. Rolling in her grave? She was probably dancing in her grave, because although she was termed the Queen of Prep, Lilly Pulitzer was the opposite to a society snob. She was a true bohemian, a trailblazer, and the first person really to get behind the idea of a lifestyle brand. And it was her lifestyle that everybody wanted, and she did not have the lifestyle of a snob. It's such a great story. That understood, Lilly actually was a society heiress. She was born Lilly Lee McKim and was the granddaughter of one of the founders of Standard Oil. In the 1950s, she met and fell in love with another society youngster, the very handsome and debonair Peter Pulitzer of the Pulitzer dynasty. This very young couple, Lilly was only 21, did not, however, have a big society wedding. Far from it. They eloped, which of course was a big no-no. They eloped to Palm Beach, Florida, where they lived the whole year round. Again, this was really going against the social mores of the era. Palm Beach, Florida in this era really was a resort town where the rich and famous would spend the season and then retreat to New York or to Boston and carry on with their lives. The Pulitzers lived there all year around. Peter had an orange grove. After dropping 3 children in quick succession, Lilly suffered from postpartum depression. She went to a psychiatrist because she was so down, and the psychiatrist evidently told her that there was nothing wrong with her. She was just bored and needed something to do just for herself, so she opened an orange juice stand. orange juice made from the oranges grown in her husband's grove. She found, however, that her clothing was perpetually stained with spilled orange juice, so she got her seamstress to run up some very simple shift dresses, but in wild and fabulous colorful prints to hide the orange juice stains. Of course, eventually more people wanted to buy the dresses than the orange juice, so she teamed up with her pal Laura Clark, a former fashion editor, and the rest really is fashion history. You see, Lilly Pulitzer absolutely redefined what was appropriate for a lady of a certain social status to wear. Just to remind you what ladies of a certain social status were supposed to wear to lunch, for example, in the 1950s and early 60s. Take a look at this. So structured, so tailored, so dressed up, so couture, so formal, gloves and hats and corsets. And then came Lilly, and this became appropriate. Simple shift dresses with headscarves, a great pair of sunglasses, and, if you were particularly daring, you could make like Lilly herself and go barefoot. This simple shift dress in a wild print became the absolute uniform for American society ladies. It even had a name, the Lilly. The Lilly. However, this look, the shift dress with the headscarf in colorful wild prints, really became the uniform for every suburban American woman in the summer in the 60s. But here's the thing that I don't think Lilly gets enough credit for. Take a look at Twiggy here. Look at Twiggy's dress, and then take a look at the Lilly Pulitzer shift. It's essentially the same dress. You see, what Lilly Pulitzer did, she brought the burgeoning Carnaby Street, Mary Quant, childlike look to America. That whole very simple yet childlike, wild, simple shift dress that we so associate with Carnaby Street and think is so great and so cool, Lilly brought it to America and was doing it and never gets any credit for really bringing the 60s to suburban USA. But she absolutely did, and this is why I really think she needs to be reevaluated as a genuine trailblazer in terms of American fashion. And just to reiterate this idea, we all know, well, all of us fashion history people certainly know, that the 60s was all about being childlike. Bright prints, fun patterns, and look at this picture of Lilly with her own daughters, all wearing the same dress. But Lilly and her wonderful Lilly dress could have stayed just in the domain of Palm Beach society had it not been for her Miss Porter School alumni, Jackie Kennedy, who famously wore a Lilly dress in a feature in Life magazine. And as soon as the First Lady wore it, then everybody wanted to wear Lilly. And that included men. Again, another thing that Lilly Pulitzer gets no credit for is what she did with menswear, American menswear in the 1960s. Bright, wild colors, oh my goodness, crazy prints, psychedelic swirls, paisleys. This was really revolutionary and incredible stuff. Lilly brought London's peacock revolution in menswear of the 60s and early 70s to America and sold it to the least likely demographic, preppy men. But of course, Lilly was and still is all about the prince. Young and fun and whimsical, with animals and palm trees and in-jokes. In the 60s, these fabrics, these incredible prints, were sourced from Key West, which just really fed into this whole resort vibe that she had. And don't you love this picture of Lily jumping off an airplane flown by her husband, clutching all of these reams of fabrics. I absolutely love it. No wonder everybody fell in love with Lilly Pulitzer and this lifestyle that she was selling. And of course, one of the great fun things about Lilly Pulitzer prints is that in every print, the name Lilly is hidden. Another area in which Lilly was so revolutionary was in retail. She opened her first store in Palm Beach, of course, but she brought that whole vibe of Carnaby Street and swinging London to the American shopper. Her store was incredible, fun and young and colourful, with music and chatter. And she really did do some interesting and incredible things with visual merchandising. For example, hanging clothing from lobster baskets, decorating her store with homemade wallpaper and huge homemade paper flowers. And just to remind you what the retail experience was like for this price point during the 50s and early 60s, oh my goodness, it was so formal. Every department store had models modeling the collection, and ladies would sit around with their little pads writing down which items they wanted as they were served tea and finger sandwiches. It was the opposite in Lilly's store. It was fun and it was young, and it really was that new wave of boutique retailing. But what Lilly was actually selling could not fit into a boutique. She was selling a lifestyle, her lifestyle. The barefoot bohemian in the tropics, yachting, fabulous patio parties with fabulous people, interesting people. Lilly's guest list would range from, of course, society heiresses to funky gardeners, interesting artists. She was famous for pouring water on the dance floor at her party so that people could kick their shoes off and better do the twist. She even had her own pet monkey, for goodness sake. She was an interesting lady because she was interested in everything and everyone. It didn't matter what sort of family you came from or how much money you had. If you were fun and nice and cool and interesting, you were invited to a Lilly party. Lilly was an adventurer, and this sense of adventure and travel and sunshine really fed into her advertising as well. Lilly follows the sun to Bermuda. Lilly follows the sun to Amelia Island Plantation. This whole idea of just enjoying life in the sunshine with wonderful tropical colors. My goodness, this is a dream that she was selling, especially to ladies who lived in cold northern climes. And now that I live in America, I've lived here for 10 years, I see an ad that says Lilly follows the sun to Bermuda, and in the middle of January, at the start of spring semester, I want to follow the sun anywhere. The brand did extremely well in the 1960s, obviously, and throughout the 70s, because although the ethos remained the same, it absolutely kept up with fashion's trends. Take a look at this print ad from the 1970s. Sure, this is Lilly Pulitzer, but this could equally be Yves Saint Laurent. And take a look at this dress. Lilly Pulitzer, but it absolutely ties in with the whole gypsy peasant trend of the 1970s. In the 1980s, however, the label began to flounder, and I really don't know why. The 80s really was all about colour, but I think that perhaps the brand was just too happy for the greed is good 1980s. So the brand was sort of floundering by the time we get to the late 1980s. It just didn't gel with the socio-economic zeitgeist of the time, I guess. However, in the mid-1990s, which was a far happier time, the brand was bought, with Lilly kept on as creative director, of course, and it has just enjoyed success upon success ever since. In fact, I would argue that the new Lilly Pulitzer is actually more true to Lilly's original vision in the early 1960s, this colorful, joyful, jet-set, summary approach. Take a look at this, for example. This really could spring from 1961, couldn't it? The new Lilly Pulitzer has enjoyed a lot of really fun collaborations, often charity, for example, a collaboration with Florida's Natural Orange Juice to support breast cancer, Starbucks, and these wonderful, very affordable headscarves, the proceeds of which go to breast cancer. And this, of course, all brings us to, oh yes, the notorious Lilly Pulitzer for Target collection that made so many ladies very angry. In fact, some of these angry ladies approached the author of the official Preppy Handbook, Lisa Bernach, to defend them. She did far from it. She wrote a wonderful piece for New York Magazine saying, no, Lilly wasn't a snob. Lilly wanted everybody to wear her stuff, everybody to have fun, and everybody to have a good time. In fact, one of Lisa Bernach's greatest quotes absolutely describes Lilly Pulitzer. In a true democracy, everyone can be upper class and live in Connecticut, or at least dress as if they do. This happy and interesting and interested and warm and generous lady passed away in 2013, but her legacy certainly lives on. Being happy never goes out of style, and Lilly Pulitzer has never gone out of style. Life is a party, dress like it is one of her most famous quotes, although I found on the internet that this quote is now being attributed to Audrey Hepburn. Certainly, Audrey may have said it. It certainly sounds like something she would say, but Lilly said it first, and I absolutely believe that life is a party. And those of you who follow the Ultimate Fashion History will know my disdain for all black wardrobes with ripped jeans and grungy dirty hair, and come on, it's not 1991 anymore, and we are not Kate Moss, which is why I personally love Lilly Pulitzer. Lilly makes up a lot of my personal wardrobe, and one of my very favorite pieces is, in fact, Lilly Pulitzer for Target. Those of you who follow this channel or who know me personally will know that the early 1960s resort wardrobe is one of my favorite looks. And so Lilly Pulitzer really does speak to my own fashion aesthetic. I also like tiki things, and so Lilly also works when I have a bit of a tiki moment. Well, I really hope you've enjoyed this episode of 20th Century Style Icons on the Ultimate Fashion History. You can contact me through my website, amandahalley.com. Join our Facebook group. We always have loads of fun over there on the Ultimate Fashion History on Facebook. I'm back every week with new episodes, either 20th Century Style Icons or Fave Film Fashion, or sometimes just good old-fashioned classroom fashion history. So just click the little circle to subscribe, and even if you're watching this in winter, pretend that it's summer, because life is a party, so dress like it. Thanks for watching.